In this video, we're going to learn how we are going to create our first report using Microsoft Report Builder. So let's get started. If you're new over here, then you need to ensure that you have these prerequisites. Again, the links to all these prerequisites are listed on the description below. And if you want a full tutorial of this, that's also mentioned. The first thing that you need to ensure is you have your SQL Server installed. I would suggest you to go ahead with 2016 and above. Previous versions are also fine, but this has been discontinued by Microsoft. So yeah, I would recommend you, if you're installing one, install it at its latest version. Next, you have to install SQL Server Management Studio, SSMS. This is where you would be configuring your reporting services in which you would be running these reports from. So that's something that you need to get installed. Next one is having a database to work with. So if you're new to SQL and you do not have a database to work with, and I would recommend you to go to the Microsoft site and get a database. There's one called AdventureWorks, and again, I'll have these links listed in the description below. The next one is installing your report server, a report builder. Again, this the report builder will be used for you to configure your reports. So yeah, if this is new for you and you need assistance, then please you watch my video on this. If you have this done, then let's proceed. We'll start off with creating a blank report. Then I'm going to show you the report builder screen and its properties that you can view. We'll go ahead and we'll learn how to create a data source. Then we'll create a data set. Then we'll learn how to create a basic report. Then we'll go on to basic formatting, and then we'll learn how to format tables. There's a difference, and so you'll learn that as well. Then we'll go ahead and see how we can sort and filter our table. And then last but not least, we will save our report. Let's get started. All right, so what you want to do is go to the search and type in report builder to open a report builder. I have my report builder pinned to the taskbar, so I'm just going to click on it. If you don't have this, you can just search it up and just type report builder and you'll get this. So this is the screen that pops up, and what we're going to do is we're not going to run any wizard to create it. What we will do is we'll start off with the blank report and we'll work our way from there onwards. I usually prefer to work from scratch. It's just my personal preference, but if you have ever worked with wizards, then you can go ahead with it. So let's dive into the next bit of it. This is the default screen that will open, and yes, you do have controls on the screen on how you want it to be displayed. On the left hand side, you have what you call report data. This is where you're going to set up your parameters, upload any images on your report, logos for your organization, set up your data sources, and also add your data sets. So this is where you're going to do most of your works. So one of the critical areas on the midpoint over here on the grayscale, this is where your report screen is. This is where you can report, do designs of your report. You can extend the size of your report over here as well. So this is where your playground is basically. At the bottom, this is your reports. So if you are grouping your reports, it will show over here. You do have the control over here. If you want to hide this, you can also do that. To do so, you just go to the view on the top, and then you can deselect reporting, and then it will get removed. Also, you have the properties towards the right hand side. By default, it's not visible. You can enable it by going to view. You can enable it and disable it. So properties is basically the properties of that particular table or any object that you're going to select. Even a text box, if I click on this text box, it will show me the properties of that. And so I have the ability to come over here and do some basic formatting from here, or I do have the option to go to the home and use this to do my basic formatting. You'll probably notice that the layout on top is mostly the same as you would see in any other Microsoft programs, for example Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel. So we've gone through the home page, we've gone to the view page, then we've gone to the insert. This is where you're going to insert graphs, metrics, tables, footer, header. You can have your sub report as well. All this we will be covering in this series, but for now we're not going to put any emphasis on this, that is one of the ways to add it. You can also insert it by right clicking on your screen over here and then selecting this. These options and these options are the same. If this is new, do not panic, we'll go through this in this series, but for now we'll just keep things simple. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a data source. So in order to create a data source, what we're going to do is click on the data sources folder and then right click on that folder and click on add a data source. This is how we're going to create a data source. So now you go through that. Now you have the option to use a shared data source which is already running on your reporting services, or you would embed it on this particular report. Now I do have some from my reporting services, but we are not going to go through that. I'm going to show you later on in future videos on how you can use a shared connection. Basically, a shared connection is just having one connection running on your reporting services, and then you can use that for the rest of your reports. It's a handful one, but not in this session. What we're going to do is we're going to specify the database connection in this report. So it's going to be embedded within the report. Let's choose a standard name. I'm just going to keep mine as demo. And then choose the connection type. I'm going to select mine as Microsoft SQL because that's where my database would be connected from. And then what I'm going to do is you could come in and enter the string over here if you know it, but we're going to keep things really simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to build and I'm going to enter my server name. And in this case, it would be Nick. You could also click on this arrow and it will show you a drop down of all your server name. And then you will be required to select your database. And in this case, I'm going to use demo, just demo. Again, you could also click on this drop down to see a list of all your database. Depending on how many database you have, I'm just going to select demo as I have demo already. Yeah, now I'm going to click on OK. And so this is how it has automatically updated your connection string. Now what you can do is you can click on test connection if you want to confirm your connection. However, if you're sure your connection is all good, you can just go ahead and click on OK. Right, so there we have it. We have our data source created. All right, so the next step is to create a data set. And in order to create a data set, we're going to use the same procedure as we did for creating a data source. Clicking on that specific folder, right click and select a data source. And then over here, you can name your data source. I'm going to name it as employee record. And I'm not going to use a shared data set. You can also create a shared data set. We might have this in the future series, but for now we're going to use a data set within the report. So I'm going to select that option and you're going to choose your data source. In this case, I have selected my data source, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go to Query Designer, and then so you have the option. There's two ways in which you can set up your query. If you know SQL queries, you can just write a query within SQL and paste your query over here. Or if you're not that familiar with SQL queries, what you can do is you can go to Query Designer and you can go to, there will be a folder called tables, and then you can select the tables select the fields from the table that you want to pick. In this case, my database is a little bit different. So my table is actually stored on the DBO folder, and then I have this tables folder over here. So because it's a fairly complicated database that I'm using, but and I'm going to select this. If I tick on it, it will select all the employees, all the fields on that table. And so I have that table. Or what I can do is I can click on the plus and I can decide which tables do I want to keep, which tables do I want to remove. Yeah, maybe let's just keep that simple for now. Let's click on OK, and there you go. So it already writes the script for me. But like I said, if you already know how to write scripts, then you can just go ahead and write the script and just click on OK. So you have your data set created, and likewise you can create multiple data sets as well. We'll learn in future series on how to create multiple data sets and the reasons for creating it. You'll most likely probably need it for setting up parameters and so forth. So we'll cover that in later videos. So once you have created your data set, we'll now move onto creating a table. Now, in order to create a table, what you can do is on this screen, you can go to insert and select a table. In order to do that, you have that option. Alternatively, what you can do is right click on that screen and insert a table. So this is a table. The table, as you know, it consists of rows and columns, and exactly that's how our data will be. It will come in the form of table as a list. So once you click on this table, you have the header which is on top and the data on the bottom. When you hover your data row over here, it will ask you, it will get that button visible. That will indicate you to select a field from the data set. Now, as you can see, I am able to select directly from the fields, but if I have multiple data sets, then it will first ask me to select the data set, and then following that data set that I've selected, it will ask me to select those fields. For now, let's get started. I'll select these fields. And then if I want to add an additional column, what I can do is I can right click on the last column and then insert, right click, and there's an option insert column. I'm going to insert that. You have the option to insert it on the left or on the right. I'm going to insert it on the right, and I can do the same as well. And then I go ahead and select my last field. Now, in the event that you have created an additional column, or if you want to delete any column, what you can do is on top, as you can see the gray lines, you can just click on that. It will highlight that entire column. And so what you can do is right click on it and select delete columns in order to delete that column. That's what I've done. Now, if you want to increase the width of these columns, then what you can do is on top on the gray line again, you'll click on that straight line, and as you click onto that, as you hover onto that, you will notice that the cursor icon changes, and that will indicate that that's the stretch, or that's the adjustment of the width that now it can allow. So you can go ahead and do that. And so if you want to stretch this more further, you don't have to really stretch the report over here. You can just keep on, so again click on it. You can again click on it and stretch on it. It will automatically expand that the length of the page. I'm just gonna get this back. That's all good. Now, if I want to shift this, so if I want to shift it somewhere, maybe on the right hand side, left hand side, up or down, to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the gray on top over here. That will basically highlight this entire table. So now I have this arrow, which I click on it and drag it. I can now drag and put my table anywhere I can. So let me put this right over here, which looks good. And now let's get into basic formatting. Okay, so what we're going to do is, before we format our table, now that we have created our table, let's just format the outer layers, and then we'll go into this inside the table and format the table. So let's add a title to this report. Now, in order to add a title, just click on it and then enter the title. So I'm going to put mine as employee listing. That's my title. And so now if I want to apply any formatting, what I can do is on top on the home page, these are the formatting tabs that I can go ahead and apply. If I have to change the font, I can go ahead and change the font type, and if I want to change the font size, I could also go ahead and do that. And if I want to bold it, I can do that. If I want to center my report, I can go ahead and do that. If I want to change the background color of this title, then I can go ahead and change the background color. Maybe let's select that. That will be my background color. And there you go. Yeah, so you can do all those basic stuff. If you want to change the color of the text, you can come over here and change it. Let me just change. There you go. So you can change that color of the text over here as well. Those are some of the basic things that you can do. If you want to increase the size, you can click on it, or you can just use that to increase the size, which I've already explained. Basically, what you'll notice at the bottom is you'll see there's a line over here, and then there's something placed over here. This is the default that you would see when you open a report builder. Now the line, first of all, let me explain the line. The line shows that this is footer area, in the footer area that you put everything over here, it would be consistent across your pages. If you have multiple pages, then it will be across all the pages. So if you don't want to keep a footer, you can right click on it and remove that footer. And if you want to have this execution time, you can have it anywhere on top of it in the actual body of the report as well. So let me show you how you can do that. So in order to do that, what you'll do is right click on the body and select insert, and you select a text box. So this is a text box where you can click on it and start entering it, just like how we entered the title. But in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to click on it. Don't double click on it, just click on it and then right click on it and select text box properties, and it will take you to this. What you can do under the values tab, you'll click on this fx and it will take you to the expression. This is one of the ways to go to that expression. The other way to do is just right click and select expression. It will open up your expression field. In this expression field, we'll definitely cover some of these areas in our future series of the videos. But for now, we'll go on to inbuilt fields. And these are inbuilt fields within the report builder that you can use as your footer, or even you can insert that within the body of your report. And one of the report is execution time. And that's the item that you have selected. That's the default option that you select. Towards the right hand side, you'll see that there's a description explaining what that item is about. So if you read this, the date and the time that the report began to run, so it will lock the time that and the date that you have run the report for. So in order to select that on the expression, you'll double click on it. When you double click on that, it will get visible on your expression box over here. That will indicate your item has been added onto the expression value. Click on OK, and then it will be shown over here. So what you can do is you can remove the footer. I'm usually not a fan of footers. It's just, yeah, it's just my personal preference. But if you want to use it, please be sure to use that. If you want to bring that up again, you can go to insert and you can go to footer, add a footer, and your footer will get visible there. And then if you want to put anything, any item over here, you can do the same thing. Just insert text, and yeah, you get the point now. That and so my habit is usually when I have designed the report, I usually try to keep my report size just fixed within that place. And I'm going to drag this again. To drag this, you just click on it outside and then you use this to drag it across. So let me just do some basic formatting over here. There you go. So that is how I have done my basic formatting. Now let's dive into formatting of your table. So don't forget, this is again your table over here. When you click on it, you get the correct box over here. So in order to format this, so you want to highlight the header to distinguish it against the content of it or against the values. What you can do is you can click on that specific field and go ahead and apply your basic formatting on top, as you can see. Or what you can do is on the towards the left hand side, when you click on that gray box there, it will highlight you the headers of that particular row. So if you apply any filtering, it will get applied on that entire row. So let's just do that to give you an idea. It will look a little bit aligned, and so there you go. Now if I want to change the formatting of the values over here, I can apply that as well. If you want to change the highlighted of last name, I can do that. Or if I want to do it for all, I can click on it and I can change that value over there. So these are some of the basic formatting that you can do within the table as well. Now if you have your properties tab visible, then let me show you towards the end over here. There is some more expanded features under that, where you can come over here and you can come to the extent of applying expressions as well. So based on a condition, it will throw you a color and so forth, so which we will learn in future videos as well. So this is the properties that shows you some of the detailed features of that particular field that you have selected. In any way, we'll cover this in detail later on. One of the things I wanted to explain you is that you can apply different formattings on different fields. So if I click on that particular field, I can do the color and inserting and stuff. But if I want to change the format, or if there's a dollar value, or if it's a date, and if I want to add a different format to that, I can also do that. So to do that, I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to go to the text box properties. The text box properties will open, and it will show me the text box properties of that particular field that I've selected. So if I go to number, and then I can apply over here, you'll see I can apply different sets of formatting that I want to. So if it was a date, I can come over here and set the date type. If it was a number, I can come over here, I can set the currency type as well. So yes, you can go ahead and apply those filterings over here. If you want to add a border, you can also go ahead and do that. If you want to change the font, you can do that. Alternatively, you can do that from that home screen that I was showing you earlier. And those are some of the alignments as well. If you want to align it, you can also do that. You can specify the paddings over here as well. And those are some of the stuff that you can do. You can, if you want to fill it with a background or image, you can also do that. Visibility will land it in this visibility, interactive sorting and actions will land it in our future videos. But from general to fill, these are the areas of the formatting that you can apply on that particular text box. So in order to run your report, what you can do is you have the run button over here, and it's simple as that. Just click on it and your report will run. So your report will run and it will get displayed. So you have your listing over here, and you have your date and time, execution time of the report. Now you can always go back and change it if you feel that there's something that is a little bit distorted or needs to be changed. This is not the final version of your report. This is, you're still in the, you can say you're still in the designer view. You can go to the next page. If you click on not, it will take you to the next page. If you click on last, it will take you to the last page. If you did some updates within your database, if you updated a field, maybe that was missing or a name was incorrect, you can click on refresh and it will refresh this report for you. And if you want to export the report, you can click on export and you can export the report into different options over here. But then again, this is at the point of preview. This is not the final product. Once you get your final products deployed, you would still be able to export the reports as well, which I'm going to show you not in this video but in a later video. So let's go back to our design view again. Let's see how we can sort our data. So if you want to sort and filter your data, there's two ways to do it. Basically, the first way is you could do it within the SQL script and your data will be sorted. The second way to do is within the report builder, which I'm going to show you. Suppose if you want to sort the order by gender, you'll click the top gray arrow. So just click on the table and you'll see the gray lines over here, but you're going to right click on it and then you're going to select the TableX properties. So if you click on the TableX properties, you can go to the sortings tab over here and then you can add a sort. So I'm going to sort it by gender, and then you have the option to select if you want to sort it by ascending or you want to sort it by descending. Let's keep that to default. Click on OK and run the report again. You will notice that your report is now sorted. So if I go back and if I want to add another sorting on top of it, I can still do that. So if I right click and go to TableX, go to sortings, I can add another sorting as well. So it will sort that field and then it will sort another field. So yes, I could do that. If I don't, if I want to delete it, I can just click on delete and it will get removed. Now for the filters as well, you can apply the same within the same field. You click on filters and then you can add a filter. So maybe I want to see a list of male gender. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my expression gender. I'm going to select is equals to, or you have the option to select is greater than or is less than, like, is not equal to, and so forth. So I'm going to select is equal to, let's put male and click on OK and let's run the report now. There you go. So if, yeah, that's the total male gender that I have run. So that's one of the reports that I can apply within the report builder. Now once I'm done with my report, I can go ahead and now save my report. In order to save my report, I can click on the save icon on top left hand corner and it will ask me to select the destination I want to save on. I can select my documents or anywhere I prefer and put a title to my report, employee listing and click on save. So that saves my report. If I go on my documents, I would be able to see that report exists there. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. If so, please do give a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. Here are other videos that you might find useful.